welcome back to another episode of And Then the Bell Rang. Always joining me is my co-host Lex Lloydy. How's it going, Lloyd?
Not too bad. Not too
Good.
bad.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, our last episode we discussed King of the Ring 95. And this next show was also from 95. It's In Your House 3. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I remember the build up to it being like because I had this video. I think I had two copies of this video, but I had this video for months and years, and I rewatched it endlessly. Um, not when you're a kid in
Endlessly.
'95, huh?
Endlessly is a big word.
Endlessly. Oh, I mean, I didn't have many wrestling videos, so I mean, this was
You had
this, and
tons. You had tons of wrestling videos.
I did, but at the time I had it in '95, '96, I didn't have many. So
This is like
it was
watching
only.
politicians in the House of Commons.
Uh,
You said that. Oh no, we didn't. How are people who don't know are supposed to know the truth?
Well, I don't remember owning many. I mean, I had a few. I had a few wrestling videos, but this was like the most recent wrestling. Most of my wrestling videos were like from the 80s and early 90s. This was like the most recent ones because sort of Silvervision were a lot more expensive than getting cheap copies from not cheap copies, but cheap VHSs from cash converters where they sold most of the WWF videos. So but I remember this one. I remember being big into the whole Diesel Shawn tag match and all the belts on the line. I remember that great storyline. I don't know. The event I rewatched it recently, and it's actually not as bad as people may think. It's not as good as In Your House 2. But I mean, what were your first memories of seeing In Your House 3?
Well, we didn't get to see it live at the
No,
time. I
no,
would have seen the event same as you on video, probably via you at the time. But
yeah,
no, it was similar. I remember the big hype, which was it was a match uh, pretty much thrown together arbitrarily, completely out of nowhere, right after SummerSlam,
yeah,
um, because Diesel's got to move on to something else, and um, Shawn's got to as well. He's an Intercontinental Champion at that point. Um, we have mused over this a little bit in some of the other shows we've done.
yeah,
I remember being quite critical of it, only in the sense of they were just making it up as they went along. That's how it felt to me then, to some extent, and I certainly feel that now. It was well, we can get into it. We can get into it, but there was some interesting matches on the card.
yeah,
Um, some surprisingly good ones, actually.
yeah, yes,
Um,
yeah.
in terms of the actual wrestling, I thought it was one of the stronger shows
It
that
was,
year.
yeah. Yeah, not as good as like you said in your house two. I definitely think it was better than in your house four. Um,
Yeah, well, too many people are on the bench for In Your House 4,
yeah,
which we sort of
yeah,
cover, and those that are working don't have a particularly great night. Razor didn't have a great night in spite of winning
no,
the title. It was
yeah,
just a fucking slog of a match. The main event sucked. So
yes,
yeah, no,
yeah,
this one was a nice
pretty
one to
decent
watch back.
event.
Actually, I haven't seen in I don't know how many years.
Yeah, no, I hadn't watched it for a while since I when I first rewatched it, and I thought, oh, it's just it was still a great show. Some good matches on there. Um, so it came from Saginaw, Michigan, in the Saginaw Civic Center, 5,146 in attendance, which isn't a bad show, but it's not like it's not from a few 2 3 years later where they get over 10,000 to 15,000 for a Raw. So, but it wasn't a bad crowd to be fair.
Yeah, but they had
Um,
a good way of putting all the focus and attention on the ring in them
yeah,
days, and lighting cleverly,
true.
which I must admit I never fully appreciated at the time. You would have been kind of aware
No,
of it, but there are a lot of venues and Raws. You watch some of the older ones back from that era, especially sort of 95, 96. Um, it'll be a big show, but there's really sparse areas of the venue, the indoor arena,
Yeah.
and they
It's
just don't
almost
light it. They do the best they can, but they do quite
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's almost like they're in a
not
gym.
an easy
Oh,
thing to balance.
no, no. Well, I mean, the commentators. This is the return of Jim Ross. I can't. He may have returned before this pay per view, but this is his first pay per view back
Are you talking about as a commentator?
as a commentator. Yeah, this is his
Yeah, that's fine.
first.
He's been back for almost a year at this point.
Yeah, but this is his first time he's been put on air. I don't know if he was on like
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Superstars.
I think yeah, he was.
Yeah.
That's a big deal to have him step up again.
Yes.
But don't forget, Gorilla Monsoon stepped down at this
Yeah.
point as well.
Yeah. And
Um,
Doc's been relegated to just an interviewer for this show. He's not like a co-commentator at King of the Ring '95.
yeah, well, there's
No.
another show which I'll talk to you about later that I'd like to do.
Right.
Actually, thinking about it,
Oh,
we can
okay.
talk a bit more about Doc Hendricks and his. Well, we briefly mentioned him last time on the King of the Ring.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say he's he's been a good impact. He's very positive, but I think he's still trying to. I think he's still finding his feet and
Yeah.
trying to define a role for himself because he was a kind of larger than life wrestler
He was.
with an
He was.
enormous personality to boot,
Yeah.
and um, yeah, hard to find the right spot for him. I think he evolves over the course of 95 into 96. Come late 96, he's far more introverted actually compared to what he was.
Yeah. 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 And I think he did
But
some
it's nice. It
commentary.
was nice to see Jim Ross back though because
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
um, he's not done a pay per view. I want to say since about 93. At this
Yeah.
point, I can't. I want to say it might have been King of the Ring, 93 was his
That's
last
that's
one.
that's a very good shout. Yeah, I would have said
So
so.
it's great to see him back, and honestly, he doesn't look out of place at all. It's him, Jerry Lawler, and Vince McMahon, and that's actually I always like that combination, that three
Yeah.
together. I think they all played off each other quite well. When it was just Vince and Jerry, it's still good, but Vince needs reining in a little bit sometimes, or just a bit more grounding. Um,
Yeah.
JR
Yeah.
offers quite a wide range of skills, I think, and you certainly get the benefit of him in this show. I enjoyed him being on commentary.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a definite change in presentation in this show with Jim Ross being there.
Quite a
So
circle for Jim Ross as well, because he's started in the company relatively quite well, and then he's
yeah.
been effectively tugged back. And it's been alluded to that his southern accent wasn't very attractive to Vince.
Vince. Yeah.
Um, and he's not the only one that had to suffer that. I think Tony Schiavone was the same in the 80s, late 80s
Yeah.
when he came and did his run. Um, but this one, is a tough challenge for Jim Ross because he's out of the limelight, not doing the big shows anymore. He's kind of relegated to if you like, the Monday Night Raw or Superstars
Yeah.
a lot more. He doesn't get the kind of big showcase events, and then he's fired, as we know,
Yeah.
in '94. Um, he had Bell's palsy, I believe it was at
He
the time,
did. Yeah. 90
which
January '94.
had a sort of long term impact on him.
Yeah.
But he recovered from that and grew from that and came back. It was it's a nice little unspoken comeback story actually behind the scenes that probably most of us watching it wouldn't have been as aware of
Yeah. Yeah.
at
This
that
I
time.
think this was his third because he was left. He left he rejoined in December '94 for the third time. So basically, he was briefly rehired in mid '94 during Vince's federal trial. And then once McMahon was acquitted, he was released again, and then he came back in briefly in December '94.
He worked with Randy Savage in '94,
Yeah,
mid '94, because I can remember
yes,
him. He commentated that unbelievable match between Bret Hart and the 1-2-3 Kid on Raw in July
Yeah,
'94, I think it was. Him and
yeah,
Randy did it, and they were fantastic. And he was really good. He
yeah,
stuck around for a little while, and as you say, dynamic shifts a bit, and
yeah,
yeah, here he is again. And he pretty much not. He doesn't exclusively take a role in every show, but it happens a lot more often from this point.
yeah,
Um, and he would go on to become, the guy, the kind of staple play-by-play man.
yeah. One of the best. Yeah,
Well, I can't
yeah.
think of
So
anyone that was better than him as a play-by-play. To be fair, I don't think of anyone that's better than he was.
no, you've got some. I mean, you've got commentators in the '70s and '80s that Jim looked up to, and but I mean, in the '90s, I mean, you've got Tony Schiavone. You've got Michael Cole, which I mean, obviously you don't know too much of Michael Cole's career because you stopped after '98. So
A little bit. I was there at the
um,
beginning.
yeah, yeah, you were there when he was like his
Not much.
backstage interviewer. But I mean, Michael Cole's gone on to have a great career.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, different era.
But I
I
would
can't
say
comment
Jim
really.
Ross, no, no, Jim Ross is definitely one of the best voices that's ever done wrestling. So if not
I'll
the
just leave it
best,
there.
yeah, 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 that's fine. Um, but yeah, no, Jim Ross returns. Um, and yeah, we can dive on into the card. So the first match is the man who should have won King of the Ring '95, Savio Vega against Waylon Mercy, um,
Yeah,
who, who
I
looked
I
familiar to
remember
me,
Wayne
but
and Mercy's gimmick. It was
yes,
it was actually really clever and quite a lot of fun because he came
yes,
in roughly mid-year, and
yeah.
I don't. I was thinking about this. I don't remember him being on any other pay-per-view except this one.
Um,
I can't remember if he was a
was he on
lumberjack
'95
in your house
Survivor
too.
Series?
No,
No.
no.
Um,
The last time I remember seeing him, he beat Diesel by count out on
right.
Superstars leading up to In Your House 4. And Diesel came running back in and jackknifed him a couple of times. I don't remember seeing him after that. It's Dan Spivey, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So he
we
retired.
never made that connection. We would have been aware of him from watching old WCW stuff at the
Yeah.
time. Those literally the two videos, which was all we had.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
Collision Course 90 and Capital Combat 90.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. One of the skyscrapers.
but it hadn't been that long, maybe, I don't know, 3 years ish. Cape Fear was remade
Yeah.
with Robert De Niro,
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis, and I'm trying to remember who played the dad in that. It wasn't Robert Redford, it was someone else.
Nick Nolte,
Um, oh,
Robert Mitchum.
can't place him. Anyway, um, but that whole Max Cady villain
Yeah.
character, that's basically what this is. It's a WWF version of that, and his promos are
Yeah.
fantastic. I think they're great. I've watched a few of them.
Yeah.
Um, he's
Squishing
like, "The
bugs.
lives are gonna be in Waylon Mercy's hand, and if the WWF superstars want to get in my way," and he's like,
You know what I mean?
swats a
Yeah.
fly on his forearm. He's like, "I'm gonna squash them like a bug." You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
making him sound really dumb there, but it was
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
well carried off.
Yeah.
Um, he had that because he's a big guy. He's really tall.
Yes.
Close to, I would have thought it'd be
Close
somewhere
to
around
7 foot.
300 pounds
Yeah.
thereabouts. Be somewhere near that mark.
6 foot
So he had a
seven,
fantastic
290.
look, and he certainly
Yeah.
had. There you go. He certainly had the look, and he had all that experience.
Yeah.
Um, but I do know from hearing other sort of podcasts down the years that he had a hell of a lot of injuries that would have been holding him back heavily at this point in his career, and I think he couldn't quite do it the way he could. I think it's
Yeah.
maybe fair to
He
say
retired.
from what others have said that were around him and were working with. Not that he was unprofessional or anything, but he just
No. No. No.
wasn't the man he was, I suppose. He was
No.
coming sort of towards the latter stages of his career, but he had a great um, great look. I don't think his matches were particularly good to watch. Um, this one with Savio Vega, I can't remember if they were particularly feuding at this point, but whatever, they've got a match on the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Um, and I
not a
have to
bad
say,
match.
I thought it was decent. I think it's a good finish. That
Yeah,
spinning heel kick um,
yeah,
of his, he takes him out
yeah.
pretty good, and
And
he beats him.
I was quite surprised because Wayland, they were talking about Wayland being like a new superstar, and only just kind of debuted, been around for a few weeks, but Savio to beat him, I was like, oh, quite surprised at that because obviously I know we had the King of the Ring push,
I
but we
wouldn't
hadn't
say it
really
was an
seen
upset.
Savio.
It wasn't an
No,
upset, but it was a very solid win for
yeah,
Savio, who had been underused actually since his big push at King of the Ring. He hasn't really done anything since then.
yeah,
Um, and let's face it, honestly,
do much
doesn't
after
really
this.
progress. Um,
No,
it was big missed opportunity with him, especially they could have really used him in '96 when they needed someone to sort of step into that intercontinental division.
yeah,
I think he could have been bigger than what he was.
yeah, they kind of pushed him with Stone Cold, but I don't know, that feud lasted for a while, but it was just like they didn't really know what to do with the feud themselves. To be fair, I mean they had a few hard hit matches, but it's not. You wouldn't say Austin's like best rivalry was with the Hitman and you know
If
Vince
you had to
McMahon
pick
and
two
Triple H.
others from '96, I would say with Austin, he has a brilliant match. I can remember he had a brilliant match with Mark Mero at King of the Ring,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
and I think he faced him in that. There was an intercontinental tournament after Ahmed Johnson was forced to vacate,
yeah,
and they had some really good matches. I think him and Salvio were really good. They were feuding probably around about January, February actually of
yeah.
'96. They were actually thrown together as a wild card tag team combination in the tag tournament leading up to WrestleMania 12. And
Yes.
I think Austin, like a scorpion, um, trying to carry carry someone on their back over the river,
Yes. Yeah.
um, stings him anyway. So they both it just cuts off his own nose to spite his face.
Yeah. I think Austin walks away from the tag or something and Bailey gets defeated or something.
Yeah,
I think,
well,
yeah.
that's about it. That's '96, but yeah,
Yeah.
'95. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is. I can't really remember much of the build up to it, if any at all. They just threw it together.
I think so.
Good villain, um, really
Good
solid
baby face.
show from both. There's some nice spots in the match actually. He's a big
Yeah.
guy and he's just slightly awkward at times, but he knows what he's doing in there. You can see that, and he's got a lot of experience.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it was solid. Yeah, I thought it was a good opener actually.
Yeah. And fun, well, not a fun fact for Dan Spivey, but Waylon Mercy actually retired from wrestling a month later due to his injuries. Couldn't
Yeah,
go anymore. So,
that's my recollections. This was more or less the end of the road for him.
yeah.
I don't think that character would have really gone that far. What he needed was he needed to have a backstory with one of the other wrestlers and just have like a Cape Fear
Yeah.
type feud where he's
Yeah.
on a rampage and he's they do a year before it was ever invented. They do the Waylon Mercy breaks into someone's house and Jim Ross is there like the private detective in the guard in the kitchen with the tripwire and
Yeah.
Waylon Mercy's killed the cook or the housekeeper or whatever and he
Yeah.
strangles Jim Ross on live TV and then they cut to you. That's what they could have done something like that. It would have made
Yes.
yeah it God
That would have made some
that would have
interesting
been good,
TV.
wouldn't it?
That would have been good. Yes.
I just made that up on the spot, but
Well
it's
done.
what it
You should
needed.
apply
It
to be a
needed
WWF, right?
well, look,
Yeah.
it needed something like that. If you're going to go, he's not literally Max Cady, but he's that sort of character. So
Yeah.
um, he needs to
Have a
obsess over somebody.
backstory.
He's got to stalk someone. That's what he never did. Was he didn't have a feud with
Yes.
anybody. He needed to start stalking someone and
Yeah.
um, making a nuisance of himself. You can have him wearing a Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses in the front row, and Jim Ross or somebody comes up and interviews him. It's like, well, why are you here?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he could be anyone. He could have gone after anybody really.
Yeah.
He could
Yeah.
have gone after Brett even,
Could have done.
or
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that would have been. Yeah, that
I
would
mean, it would have
definitely
been
been
a stupid
interesting.
gimmick, but I mean, he wrestles a pirate on this night, so why not?
Who stole his jacket? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll
that
get
match
to
was
that
a
one.
good match though. But
Yeah, we'll get
um,
to that definitely.
yes. So Savio
Well, those are
picks up.
my thoughts on Waylon Mercy. Anyway,
I remember that I still my thoughts on Savio was that he was still over. The crowd still gave him a good
definitely,
pop when he came to the ring. So
definitely.
they could still have pushed him after this event, but they don't seem to really. Um, they didn't really know what to do with him. So unfortunately,
I go back to
but
what I said of the King of the Ring, though. Um, Vince clearly had no intention of doing anything with him.
no,
Um, but even if that were the case, regardless of what he wanted to do, the fact is, unquestionably, by his own actions and the way he was booked, he got him over
yeah,
at the
yeah,
time. When he was over for a while,
he was,
um, he beat three guys in one night. So
yeah,
morally, he's the king of the ring.
yeah,
That's a
hundred
massive.
percent,
Um, yeah, he's almost a martyr, really, at the end of the show.
yes,
Um,
yes,
and regardless of whether it was intended or not, he's gone over and he's won three matches on that night. And everybody knows that morally, he's the king of the ring. Because you think, if he'd wrestled IRS a week earlier, like everybody else wrestled in their matches, he'd have beat IRS. He would have beat IRS,
yeah,
and he'd have had a week to prepare.
exactly. You never know. You never know.
It's
He
no
may have won the
guarantee.
gimmick.
Maybe he wouldn't have. I guess if that were the case, if I'd sort of forced that on Vince, he would have been like, "Oh, well, he's going to be
Yeah,
squashed by Mabel anyway." What do you think of that, pal?
Mabel was such a big bastard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Probably that probably would have happened because
Time to
Vince
move
loved
on.
his big men. Yeah.
Time to
Wow.
move on.
The next match is Psycho Sid with Ted DiBiase against Henry O'Godwin. And again, as much as I like Sid, 95 Sid was not at it, and this match wasn't great in my opinion. I mean, it was a great finish at the end of it, but yeah,
Um, all I can remember, I was going to let you do most of the legwork on this one, because
right.
I'm not a great fan of it. If anything, over the years, whenever I've thought back to In Your House 3, I've always remembered this match, thinking that was really goofy, and that's
Yeah,
that's just one for the kids. That match, that was just fucking stupid. I didn't like it. The whole slop thing, yeah, it gets a pop, and all the rest of it is pantomime stuff, really. But um, there's one spot in the match I did enjoy. I think Sid goes for a leg drop and he misses, and he sells it quite
yes,
well.
yeah.
Um,
It looked very
yeah,
awkward the way he went for the leg drop, but yeah, it was.
yeah. I mean, look,
Um,
let's face it. People, I actually think Sid gets more praise now than he ever did when he was alive. Um,
yes,
in
yes,
my
yeah,
in my opinion, he was a fucking terrible, terrible worker in the ring. As most of his matches were just garbage. To watch because he just didn't have a very good skill set in the ring. His mannerisms, his promos, his intimidation, second to none, really. He was fantastic. And that's why he always managed to get himself into those positions periodically.
yeah,
So you can't deny he had a lot going for him. He certainly did. He's certainly one of those guys you'd always sort of want to remember as well. Um,
yeah.
but I just think that matches like this one, um, Henry
Oh,
Godwin, did anyone really care that much? I mean, the whole thing, Sid does what you'd expect him to do. He beats him
yeah,
um, after a good effort, but Ted DiBiase wants his revenge. I think Karma's out there. They're trying to do the big beat down on Henry Godwin, and Sid's got the
Bam
Sid's
Bam
got
comes down,
no
doesn't
no
he?
no. I'm trying to remember. DiBiase's got the bucket. Karma and Sid are sort of holding him
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
beating him. And then Henry Godwin recovers, gets up from behind, and slops $1 million man anyway. And to be honest, that's about all there is to say. I haven't got any other comment.
For some unknown reason, I got a memory of Bam Bam coming down to help Henry O'Gowan, but obviously not.
Oh,
um,
that's it. That's it. They're holding Bam Bam.
that's it.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go on. You're right. Well,
yeah.
anyway,
Bam Bam comes down to help out, and Palmer and Sid get the better of him. Henry O'Godwin's recovering on the other side of the ring, and DiBiase is going to slot Bam Bam, and Henry O'Godwin sneaks up from
Of
behind
course.
and slops Ted DiBiase.
There you go. Sorry, that's just me being lazy because I
No,
watched it
no,
and
no, that's fine.
I tried
That's
not to
fine.
remember it.
That's fine.
But that's exactly what happened. Well done.
And I remember them going, "Oh, Bam Bam's got a match next," because he's literally comes out again in the next match. So, um, yeah. So I mean, yeah, we can move on from Sid, and I mean, I'm not. I
Let's
do
do
like
that.
Sid, but '95 Sid wasn't my favorite era of Sid. So the next match is the newly healed British Bulldog. I want to say healed is a bad guy now, taking on Bam Bam Bigelow. He's had his hair cut. He's coming to the ring, and this is a good match. I like this match. I was surprised that Bam Bam lost because obviously, you know,
I
I
don't think
think
it should
Bam.
be. I don't think it should be because it was a really strong um, turn for the Bulldog. It's
True,
a hell of a match, actually. I
it
think
is.
Bam Bam, for his size, um, is probably the best and most agile big man of his sort of weight class, really.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I remember I was disappointed, but I really like that. I always found it quite ironic that when Bam Bam turns face shortly after WrestleMania, he gets a new um, entrance theme, which is basically a variation of the LT music that he used at WrestleMania,
yes, yeah,
which I always found pretty ironic. But yeah, he took it as his own and he owned it, and it actually
yeah,
kind of suited him. I liked it.
yes, yeah.
Quite
Although
sort of upbeat theme tune compared to his old one.
yes, although I wasn't too impressed by the flames coming out of his like jacket. They didn't really go
Nah,
off very well. It was like
nah.
it was like pushing something and it was like spurting out. You're like, oh, well, that didn't really
Yeah,
work, Bam
it
Bam.
looked like something
It
you'd make
looked
for a
terrible.
school drama production.
Yes, yeah, that didn't go down so well. So, but
But luckily,
yeah,
he's still got all his skills in the ring, and every time Bam Bam had a match, I always thought he was brilliant. Bam Bam. I can't remember him ever having a stinker, to be
no,
honest.
the Davy Boys, he's a powerhouse and he pretty much picks up Bam Bam with ease in certain points of this match. And
Yeah, they sell that.
um,
I mean, I think whether Davy's a heel or he's not, um,
yeah,
they have to. It's almost like Hogan must pose. Like Davy must hold someone up in the air vertical for 10
yes,
seconds, and
yes,
whether he was heel or babyface, he always got such a massive reaction when he did that because it was just unbelievable and fantastic to watch that.
yeah,
Um, if there's any one move of his that I enjoyed the most, it was that. It was the standing vertical 10-second
suplex,
drop duplex. They were
yeah,
just yeah. No one did it quite like him, in my
no,
opinion. Davey,
no, no one's done it
fantastic.
like him. He
So
did
yeah,
before. So
he's got a very not an amazing win, but he's got a very rock solid win against a tough competitor like Bam Bam. So that's a good win
yeah,
for him, which will ultimately push him to bigger and more important matches. So it helps. Yeah, Bam Bam losing helps build Davey really,
yes.
and yeah, Bam Bam's not long for this world either at this point.
Last
Two or
pay per
three more
view is at
months.
Survivor Series because
That's right.
he gets
I
disillusioned with
honestly
the
think he
click.
was a big loss. I
It
think, yeah,
was
unfortunately, he got caught up in all the click bullshit.
Shawn Michaels crap.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and that's where that's one of the times I tried not to say too much about him and the click and all the rest of it because it's just not very helpful. Although I will say, regardless of sort of what side of that you're on, um, when you're talking about guys like Dean Douglas that were, you know, well, let's face it, Dean Douglas is someone that was pretty much not liked at all
no,
by the clique, and they used their stroke to get rid of him, and I think make life difficult for a number of other talents. Now, some of them weren't really up to it, but in Bam Bam's case, they messed with someone that was just an absolute top guy. He might
yeah,
not have been like
the top
main
guy,
event,
but
but
he was yeah,
he was someone you certainly would respect him, and you'd always want to have him around. So
yeah,
um, I think that's an example of how bad the click was and that influence and that culture. But anyway, that's
Yeah. And just to point out as
just my
well,
opinion.
backstage during these matches, and not during, but in between these matches, we're finding out that Owen Hart hasn't arrived at the building um, for the tag match, and Jim Cornette and Gorilla Monsoon are going back and forth about what to do about the match. And Gorilla's like, Yoko can either defend the two against one, or we find a replacement for Owen Hart. And Jim Cornette's trying to find someone as a replacement partner
Yeah,
for the
thanks for
tag
mentioning
match.
that's important. It's important that
Yes,
it's going on quite early doors of it, and pretty much between matches and even um,
during them. Yeah,
during one or two instances they've got that little posse talking to every bounty hunter that they can find backstage.
yes,
There's a really funny one where Yoko stood in front of Mabel and they're sort of squaring up to each other. Like, okay, that's not going to work.
yeah. I think there's one where Jim Cornette's talking to Sid. Um,
Yeah, he's not happy, is
and
he, Sid? He's
he's not happy.
screaming and
No, he's
shouting.
screaming at him. Yes, he's like, I just had a match with Godwin. Damn it! I don't want a second match. But yeah, no, it's I think the
I
actual
thought it
story.
was ultimately just completely fucking ridiculous for me. That whole Owen Hart doesn't show, and then we'll come to it later. But um, let's come to it later. Let's just come to it later. Yeah.
Okay, so the Bulldog's gone over. I don't know. I think it's right after this next match where they find the replacement, or it's either after the Brett one. But the next match is Dean Douglas. Bob Backlund's introduced. He comes out and does like this long-winded spiel um,
I enjoyed
to
that.
introduce yes, to introduce Dean Douglas, and he goes against Razor Ramon. And again, this is in between where the kid and Razor are having a bad year, like you said before, and the kid comes out and counts the pinfall for Razor, and Razor doesn't see that the kid's done it. He thinks the ref's done it, and he gets all bent out of shape and pushes the kid out the ring. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
look, as far as the match goes, I must admit I've only really got the In Your House 4 match to compare it with.
yeah,
Um, I think there's a match on Raw where Dean Douglas had interfered. He'd done like a splash off the top turnbuckle, sort
right.
of dressed in jeans and
Oh yeah,
shirt.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hit Razor, and I think he lost to oh god, I can't remember who it was against now.
I think they show it in the
Anyway,
video package.
yeah,
Show
I'm
it.
trying to remember who it might have been Bulldog or so. I honestly can't remember. I'd
Probably,
have to
yeah,
remind myself. Um, but it's a better match, this one, than they had it In Your House 4, because you can just see Dean Douglas. He is sluggish, and I think you can tell he's in pain. Personally, I think when you watch him really
yeah.
close, knowing everything we know now, he's not right.
No,
He's
no,
definitely not right. He's not himself. He's better here than he is In Your House 4 and beyond, because he just gets progressively worse and worse
yeah,
for the rest of this year in terms of his ability in the ring. He's just more and more limited. You can just see his back pain was just appeared to overwhelm him
yeah,
at times. He's just not doing very well. But it's better. It's a better match, and Razor gets him up. He hits his Razor's edge, which is nice to see someone actually prepared to take it in '95. Because most of the time, his knee would give way, or someone would chop him, or whatever. So it's nice to actually see somebody get fucking nailed for once. So he
yes,
goes for his cover. Then Kid comes in, makes a false count basically because the ref's been bumped at this point, and Razor
yeah,
thinks he's won it. Turns around, Kid's there. What the fuck? Throws him out the ring quite violently.
brutally.
Um,
Yes,
I think it's fair to
yes.
say. And then out of nowhere, Dean Douglas just gets up like nothing
Rolls him up.
happened, rolls him up
Yeah,
1, 2, 3. Um, and yeah, the aftermath is all about the breakdown between Razor and the Kid.
yeah. They both square up to each other.
They do have a
Um,
match, though. If you remember, it all gets kind of settled a week or two later on Raw. They have a match to kind of settle it.
yeah,
Razor beats him. I want to say beats him 3 times,
yes,
and
yeah,
each
yeah,
time somehow the match gets restarted just because Kid won't let it go, and Razor's like, no, he
yeah,
wants some more, so I'll give him some more.
yeah,
Um,
yes, yeah.
and I think at the end of it, there's a coming together out of respect, and they patch it up, but even that doesn't last.
No, no. Kid turns on him when he has a match with Sid right before Survivor
Yeah,
Series,
right
I
before
want to say.
Survivor Series. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
But
he
yeah, this
joins
was
forces.
I liked the newness of Dean Douglas, because we've been seeing him sort of leading up to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
He's been he's not wrestled at all for a long time, but then he's just backstage and he's got his blackboard,
In
chalkboard,
his school classroom,
and
yeah. Yeah.
he's got a monitor set up next to it, and he after everybody's matches, he's doing these critiques, um,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
he's basically taking a page out of Bob Backlund's book, and I want to say Bob Backlund's out there to kind of morally supporting um, Dean Douglas, and he does
Yeah.
slightly intervene in the ref bump, and he's trying to
Yeah.
Bob Backlund, that is, and um, that was an interesting kind of pair, and it sort of worked.
Yeah, they could
Um,
have gone with that, but
but Dean Douglas was just a piece of work. He wasn't insane,
no. I quite
so
like
that
the
doesn't quite work. But anyway,
no. I quite like the vignette they did after the SummerSlam '95 match where he's critiquing Razor and Razor confronts him.
well, that's why
That's
we're here,
that's when
isn't
he
it?
he
That's how it
slaps
all
him, and it
started.
sounds like a gunshot going off because it literally was like a proper slap. It was like it sounded really loud when he slapped Dean Douglas. That's what I thought there, Dean. Your
Yeah,
stuff, you
it was a good way to
yeah,
kick off a rivalry, and also what it did, I thought at the time, was it um, immediately protects Razor because he's just lost an enormous
match,
fight,
yeah,
a massive, and any other way, you're gonna be thinking, oh shit, where does he go from here? How bad was that? That's probably the biggest defeat of his whole career, arguably.
yeah, yeah,
Um, King of the Ring '94 was a bad one too, but yeah. So
yeah,
immediately he's got his teeth into a new feud, which was healthy. I think that was good for him to just move on very quickly from that disappointment.
yes,
Um,
yeah,
and ultimately, this is the beginning of him, um, you know, being led back to the title
yes,
as well, which
yeah.
we wouldn't have appreciated at the time, but that is where it goes. So
It does, yeah. All because Shawn Michaels gets jumped in a bar, but anyway. um, no, that's
next,
actually in your house too, wasn't it? Jesus Christ. No, he does forfeit in your house for, doesn't he? He gets the yeah.
yeah,
Fucking hell.
yeah, yeah.
Oh dear.
So,
I'm confused. I'm pretty sure after this match is when they
yeah,
confirm
it's
that
like a
the
month
Bulldog
later.
is
It all happens a
yes.
month later.
I know. I'm getting confused with in your house too. But that's because Michaels beats Jarrett, didn't he? Anyway, I'm pretty sure after this match is when they confirm that the Bulldog is the chosen replacement for Owen. Um, which made sense because he was part of the Cornette stable anyway. So um, yeah, the British Bulldog is now the one night only the co-holder of the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championships. Take on Diesel and Shawn Michaels, with the next match being Bret Hart, Jean Pierre Lafitte, the pirate who stole Bret's jacket. So
Yeah, there's
just
only so much to really talk about that story.
I enjoyed the Hitman interview at the beginning where it's like, jacket is a jacket, but it's something special for me. It's like his interview right before he came out, and the fans fought big for Bret again. So, um,
Yeah, I think you're right. The match itself, the storyline, the build up, it's something that Vince did to marginalize Bret, although Bret's actually going to start to re-emerge in the title scene soon.
yeah,
But he's not quite there yet, but it's coming, which is good for him. But um, yeah, he has a nice promo, and he's wearing his glasses as well. And
yes, yeah,
the light catches it really well too. It is he does look like a superstar
he
um,
does.
in that interview. But what I would say about this match is um, there's certain things in terms of the chemistry between the two of them that just came together and all clicked for me. I think they both brought a lot of good out of the other. I can't think of a better match that he ever had than this one. Um,
Yeah, this was a great
not that
match.
he was around all that long, but
Yeah,
former Quebecer. Pierre. Uh,
Yes.
so the match starts. I was so impressed with the start of it because there's a lot of people that will say stuff about Brett, like, oh, he was just a technical wrestler, he had no flamboyance, he wasn't athletic, he couldn't, yeah, he wasn't a high flyer. Actually, um, that's not entirely true. I think there were a few moves that he would do that I would consider to be high flying moves and very exciting and high risk moves as well, and none better than the example here at the start of this match. The
Yeah.
Pierre's walking towards the ring. He's sort of on the matting outside, and Brett runs across the ring, bumps off the other far ropes, flies through the second rope, and kind of somersaults in the air and just takes him out. And
Yes.
I
Yeah.
thought it looked absolutely fantastic. And they did actually use a snippet of that on, I can't remember if it was Raw or if it was Superstars for
I think
about a
it's
year
more.
or so after that. They would
Yeah.
use that
Yeah.
as one of the kind of action moves on the intro to the show, which in itself tells you, hey, that was a
Mhm.
fantastic move.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one
Yeah.
or two others he could do as well. Um, so he wasn't just a rigidly technical wrestler. He could
Oh no,
surprise you. He was an innovator as well, and I think he doesn't get enough credit for that. This was a really good match.
it
Um,
was.
I don't know about if you noticed it, but it's a very different kind of Bret Hart match. He's not up against a giant, but he's not up
No.
against a small guy either. In terms of strength, I'd say he's outgunned slightly by Pierre,
Yeah.
not by a hell of a lot, but he is outgunned and he's outweighed.
Yeah.
Again, not massively, but just enough. Um, but Pierre, the pirate Jean Pierre Lafitte,
Yeah.
he's
Yes.
got a lot of technical skills. He's a very very
It's a solid
talented
wrestler. Yeah.
technical wrestler. He was very good.
Yeah.
He understood psychology. He could build momentum. He was a good villain, albeit he was trapped inside a fucking stupid gimmick, which
Yeah.
he was better
Yes.
than that. I wish they'd done something else with him because he was just so good.
Yeah.
Um, I just noticed in this match he's a disruptor, Pierre, because he does something that most Bret Hart opponents never really did, which was he would break Bret's rhythm consistently when he was trying to build momentum. Like Bret would have his kind of signature moves in sequence. He'd have a backbreaker, or he'd have a you know um, elbow off the second turnbuckle, and he'd have a Russian side leg sweep, and he'd build towards the sharpshooter. He never gets to do all of them in a row because Pierre would counter one of them and break that whole momentum, and then it would have to build all over again, and Brett would have to start all over again. Happened quite a few times in this match,
Yeah.
and there's some spectacular high risk moves and misses. Brett comes off
Yes.
the rope a couple of times and I'm pretty sure he gets semi crotched in the ropes
Yeah.
at one point, and
Yeah.
Pierre does. He's got this cannonball finisher, which is a fantastic move. Um, Literally just jumps and cannonballs off the top and just lands on his back on top of his opponent. Just flattens him, and he misses one attempt of it, and to miss it, it just looks spectacular. Um, and yeah, the technical contest was one thing, but it was a real war of attrition this match, and they really went for it, and they dug very deep in this match. And I think it's acknowledged sort of towards the end, or even the next night on Raw. I vaguely remember um, Vince kind of talking about the results, and he vaguely remember he mentions that Bret Hart was pushed right to his absolute limit, and it kind of looks a little bit like that
Yeah. Yeah. He
in this
he
match.
definitely pushed him a lot. Carl, I think Brett even spoke about like he loved wrestling against him because the guy would, Jean Pierre would actually throw him into the ropes. He physically test Brett. Um,
You can
and
see
yeah, it
that.
was,
Yeah, you can
yeah,
absolutely see that. He's working for every single inch of ground that he gains in the match, and
yes,
he had a lot
yeah,
of setbacks, Brett, in this one, but he's a fantastic villain.
yeah,
Um, the story and the rivalry was far better in the ring than it was outside of the ring leading up to it. Because leading up to it, there's no reason for him to really fight. He's stolen a jacket, but it was just petty bullshit. It was, you know,
Yeah.
Just get security to take it back from him, or just get someone else to deal with that shit. Why? The other thing, you think about it, like, okay, so the jacket is then in possession of the timekeeper or whoever it is. He's looking after the same guy that Razor used to threaten at ringside when he said, if something happens to these, something's going to happen to you. Yeah, that guy,
Yes.
whoever that guy is, when
Yes.
he hand his
Yeah, he
jewelry
should have
over.
done it.
You think like,
Yes.
well, where's the jacket gone? Is it gone in somebody's safe deposit box or what? And has
Yes.
somebody decided that actually, regardless of the fact that we're dealing with stolen property, regardless, if Brett loses, therefore legally, it's going to not be his jacket anymore, and
Yeah.
somebody in WWF is just going to decide that. Is that what we're looking at here? Because it felt like it was
I
almost
think
a
it was.
stipulation to the match. The winner of the match gets to keep the jacket. That's not quite how they
Yeah.
build it, but that's the way it was implied,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
stupid.
Yes.
But
Very.
again, the amount of times Vince would try and sabotage wrestlers' careers, this is, I think this is an example where he's given
Yeah.
he's given Brett fuck all to do in '95, apart
Yeah.
from just flounder in mid card at best.
Yeah.
He's given John Pierre Lafitte a new lease of life, and he's decided to downgrade him from when he was a Mountie, because I think he had more going for him as a Mountie, as a tag team, than he
Yeah.
has as
Yeah.
a single with his gimmick. He's got a lot going for him as a single, but not with this gimmick. So in spite of that, he's got two fantastic talents in the ring. He's tried to screw him over, and they've said, "Fuck you, we're going to tear the house down." And that, to me, that's what they did. I think they were just phenomenal.
Yeah. They're the best match on the card, I think.
I'd say it's one of those, you can watch it back all these years later, and you can just really appreciate it as a contest and just how to tell a story as
Yeah.
well. And it's such an enjoyable match to watch just from a storytelling standpoint and a contest. It's a real contest, this one. And it turned a stupid gimmick into a very, very meaningful, hard fought victory in the end.
Yeah.
I can't praise it enough. It's one of my favourite matches of '95, I think. Looking
Yes.
back, it
Yeah.
was just fantastic. Great match.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree. I
Good pop.
agree. Yeah.
And Brett gets his jacket back, which I believe he was always I believe he gave it to a charity or something,
I think
because he actually has a new jacket after this. It's the one he wears at Survivor Series, which is he's got like white tassels on the shoulders,
yeah.
shoulder pads, and kind of like a pink collar and black leather. It was I liked his second jacket more than the first one.
Yeah. Right. Fair enough. Well, he got it back and gave it to charity or something. And
Yeah,
yeah, it was a hell of a match. Like I said,
Battle of Canada,
yes, yeah.
and Brett
So
got his man.
he did, he did. The Mountie didn't get his man, but Brett did. So, and Jean Pierre Lafitte had similar problems with the click as Bam Bam did, and he left in November of '95.
Yeah,
So
there's an incident that I've only heard about through um, interviews, mainly Kevin Nash. I've heard the story from. I haven't heard it from anyone else that I can remember. But the
yeah,
saying goes, um, Pierre was in Montreal. I want to say it was
yeah,
Montreal, and he wanted to go over. Now, whether he wanted to get a clean win or what have I don't know, or whether he just wanted a decision. But he wanted to go over, so we'll assume that he wanted to get a pin
yeah.
over. What if it was over Kevin Nash actually, and
Uh,
um, or if it wasn't Kevin Nash, it would have been someone else in the clique. I can't
it
remember
was
who it was.
against
Anyway,
Kevin
it
Nash. Yeah,
doesn't
it
even
was
matter.
against Kevin. Yeah, yeah,
Doesn't even matter. Um, but they just kiboshed it, and yeah, it just turned ugly after that. And I think they had it in for him.
I think it ended in a double count out. So
I can understand them wanting to kibosh somebody that's got a stupid gimmick, which he did. But
yeah,
again, he's someone that could do it in the ring, and if he was just repackaged properly, look at The Rock when he first came in, coming down to with this bloody
yeah, pet
was it like
hairstyle.
Native American um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
references, and you know. I'm no doubt he's in real life. I'm sure he's very proud of all that stuff. But the way they were presenting him, you could just see he fucking hated it.
He did. Yeah, he ate how he debuted, and until he
Yeah, and
until he
just the
became the Rock.
persona and just the kind of like wet behind the ears, like extremely naive baby face who's got no life experience as well,
Yeah.
which is
Yes.
basically what they portray him to be when he first comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, idealistic and righteous and all this sort of
Yeah.
um, ugh. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Rock's the first to admit he hates how he debuted, but it
Yeah,
took
but he
it
took
took
it all
him.
in. He took it all
He
in
did.
in
He
his own
did.
hands in the
He
end.
did. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So we're now at the main event. We're now at the tag team championship. Well, the match. It's a tag match for the WWF tag titles and the Intercontinental title and the WWF Championship. So if
And all
Shawn
three
Michaels is
commentators
pinned,
thought Shawn Michaels would lose his Intercontinental title. I always found that interesting that literally
they did.
everybody insisted
They
that's what
did.
would happen. There's,
Yes.
I must admit, as I said, I thought it was a completely arbitrary match, and it is an arbitrary match because there was no reason to throw it together other than let's have an interesting main event at the next pay-per-view. But there's no
Yeah.
feud or significant history that would demand that match was pulled together right then and right there. But
No.
um, when they were a heel tag team, they were really good, Shawn and Diesel. And
Yeah.
as a babyface tag team, they're even better. And I must admit,
Yeah.
watching the match back, I did think I would particularly enjoy it. I hated the finish. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Um, but I have to say they do a great job, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
And for a
Yeah.
tag team main event, and we already covered one on our last show,
Oh
um,
God, the
yeah,
worst ever.
this is a very, very rare case where it actually, I think it delivered something quite impressive.
It did. It did.
Not
And
enough to you know lead on to anything meaningful thereafter because they immediately undo everything. Um,
yes, well,
Following night, we'll have to
the,
probably briefly mention that as well. But
the
um,
finish, the finish does that because I mean,
well,
for years
before
I
we get to the
wondered.
finish though, before we get to the finish though, I just want to talk about some of the fun stuff in this one because it is worth unpacking it.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's fine. I was just going
there's
to
a
say about. I was just going to say about for years about Owen. The reason why he wasn't actually there until the end was because apparently Martha Hart was pregnant at the time. She was in labour. That's why she wasn't there, or he wasn't there. Anyway,
I would
sorry, carry on.
suggest that the whole thing was depicted that way, and it played out exactly how it was supposed to be played out.
Right, fair enough.
Because it will because of we'll talk about the aftermath and what happened the next night after. But um,
Yeah,
I think they work great as a pair.
they were.
Shawn
Yeah,
Michaels, he's in the ring with Yoko and he challenges him sumo style, and he's taking the
yeah,
piss out of Yoko, and you're thinking, okay, fair enough. Like, how's he going to get away with this? Why is he doing this? He's going to get creamed. And you're thinking, okay, well, like JR doesn't quite say it, but if he'd wanted to, he could have said, yeah, but sure, Yoko's going to squash him if he gets his hands on him, but Shawn's quick and he's fast and he's agile and he's got to catch him first. And that's pretty much what happens is they start charging each other and Shawn slides clean under his legs,
yes,
stands up and starts kind of hitting him with a few kind of pea shooter shots. And not long after that, he gets caught by Yoko.
he
And you're
does.
like, okay, that's it. That's the end of that. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
And there's some funny spots where Davey's down in the corner and Yoko tries to come in and make a save when Davey's being covered, and I think Shawn jumps off the cover just in time for Yoko to fall onto
the
Davey,
Davy
and
one. Yeah,
it's just really it was fun. It was well coordinated. They all of them worked really well together out there.
yeah,
Diesel and Shawn are really good. They're both over.
yeah,
But I've got to say this though, for Diesel in this sort of role, I think he's been undermined for quite a long time. I mean, Vince is quietly sulking for the whole year that, oh well, where's the money?
yeah,
Where's the merch? What's going on?
yes, yeah,
You're supposed to be my next Hulk Hogan, and it's not happening. Why not?
yeah,
Um, and yeah, he feels you can see Shawn's being slowly built up around this time as well.
yeah,
Um, he's going to get a run next year at the WrestleMania. I think that's decided.
yeah,
Way out. Certainly around this time, I would think it might not be quite 100%, but it'll be pretty much that's the direction of travel. And um, yeah, the pair of them are really good together. But um, it's a strange match in the sense of, okay, so if titles change hands, what are they going to do with them? If
Yeah.
Owen Hart becomes IC champion, where's that going to go? If Yoko becomes the champion again, he
Yeah.
can't work.
No.
He can't work for more than a few minutes. That's not going to happen. And we didn't appreciate that at the time. We didn't appreciate just how much he was struggling and
Gaining
blown up.
weight.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, it's an arbitrary match in that its planning would never go anywhere. So should we just jump to the finish?
Yeah. Yeah. Go for it.
Well, I mean, again, this I think the finish is bad for several reasons, but the first one is Bulldog gives a half-assed but still a power slam on
Yeah.
Diesel,
Evil.
Diesel, um, and he goes for the cover, and he gets interrupted, and you're thinking, shit, probably would have been all over there. So Diesel, and you know how I feel about these finishes. I've said it so many times.
Yeah.
He was saved,
He
and
was.
he looked weak, and he looked
He
like he
did.
didn't deserve to be champion.
Yeah.
I know it's a tag match, don't get me wrong, but you know what I mean. It doesn't make the champion look good here.
No.
Um, it's I suppose it adds a little bit of fuel for the match that was to come in Your House 4 when Bulldog finally gets his shot, but
Yeah.
um, it's not great for Diesel. And anyway, it's not looking great for Diesel. And Owen Hart out of absolutely nowhere just comes running down the aisle, jumps into the
Yes.
ring. Diesel sees him, punches his gut, kick, jackknife. 1, 2, 3, new tag team champions. Crowd goes nuts. Everybody's happy, right?
Yeah. They lift up the one belt afterwards.
Yeah. And it was that whole,
And
the whole build up was two dudes with that attitude and all that shit.
mhm, mhm.
Um, where are you going to go with it? Are they really going to be defending the tag titles as well?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
one of those. It doesn't make great sense. They've both got singles titles. They've got tag teams. So it's just not credible.
No. No.
So like, what the fuck are they going to do with that? So because Gorilla Monsoon sanctioned Davey as one night only, he's a tag champion. Owen is officially
Yes.
not a tag champion, and the whole thing
Yes.
gets overturned by um, a sit-down meeting with Gorilla Monsoon, Jim Cornette, and his attorney Clarence Mason, who's introduced for the first time. And this is kind of semi. What would you say? This is semi shoot.
Possibly.
Sorry,
Possibly.
no, it's the wrong. Sorry, no, that's wrong. Um, they try and make out like he's a real solicitor and this is a real
Yes.
situation. And they do it
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
not brilliantly, but they do it well enough to make you think, oh, maybe
Yes.
at the time. I didn't quite
Yeah.
believe it, but anyway, so on a technicality, he's like, yeah, okay, fine. So Owen, yeah, he was pinned. The referee counted, he shouldn't have done. Um,
This
so
is
they're
the
going to
next night
take the
on Raw,
belts
right?
off him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the next night. Yeah.
And they throw a match together, Smoking Guns versus Yoko and Owen. The Smoking Guns win it, and Diesel and Shawn come out to celebrate with the guns. And you think, okay, now we all
Yeah.
move on. Life
Yes.
goes on.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Smoking Guns get their revenge for losing
At
on the biggest
WrestleMania.
stage at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, it was just a throwaway match that didn't go anywhere. And
No.
yeah,
I could.
I think that was my criticism, was that there was no forward planning to it at all. It was just they were going through. I think I said it at the last show. They were just desperately scrambling and coming up with forced
Anyway.
storylines to jump
Yeah.
from one pay-per-view to the next. And then I suppose one other thing that I'll acknowledge, because it never happened before, that they had a pay-per-view every single month for the first time in their history in '95. That's the start of it all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they have to adjust a little bit to long-term storytelling because it's being shortened. It's the beginnings of that.
Yeah.
So previous years, you'd have 3 months, sometimes even more than that, between
Yeah.
pay-per-views. So storylines were built up over a much longer time and they were more meaningful.
Yeah.
And I think they you know, they were fueled a lot more, and it just had a bit more stakes involved
Yes.
when it was
Yeah.
a longer burn or a slow burn in some cases. But this is it's a different era now.
Yes. Yeah.
95.
Definitely. Yeah. And again, I think they were trying to, because WCW they started doing pay-per-views every month and Clash of the Champions in '95, so they kind of tried to follow that model as well.
I think it's a shame that no one was bold enough to just say, yeah, sure, they're doing a show every month.
Yeah.
What are their buy rates like? What's the quality like? Is that
Yes.
really
Yeah.
something we want to do? Our product's good. Let's focus on
Yes.
what we do. You don't have to do one every month. Now, in terms of the financials, even if it's a reduced income, it's still an increase overall
Yeah.
because they were cheaper shows, the In Your Houses, because they're only 2 hours. Um, but it's the way the business has been since 1995. Um,
Yeah.
we remember it before that, and it was just very different.
It
That's all.
was. It was.
I'm not saying that should go back to 5 a year or 4 a year necessarily, but if it did happen, I'd be thinking, well, you'd focus. I'll tell you what, it would focus minds. It would definitely
Yeah.
focus minds, and I'd say there'd be a lot of good that would come out of it. But
Focus
um,
storytelling as
it's a
well.
different. I mean, I'm talking about a bygone age, really.
Yes.
I don't belong in this century anyway.
That's fair enough. No, no, I see what you're saying. The storylines could have been a lot longer and a lot tighter than what they are today. A lot of them are
Although
short-term storytelling.
when you've got a depleted talent pool like they had at the time, a slow burn for a shit story. That pool,
Yeah.
that's even worse.
Yes.
So you got to balance it
Yes.
too. But
That's
it's
true.
what I've always said though: is use your top guys. That's what they're there for. Use your
Yes. Yeah.
guys, your top ones.
Yeah. You've got to don't. I mean, okay, you can try and create stars with your mid carders and that, but it's like you don't, you do that slowly. You don't just push them all onto one show like at King of the Ring '95 and go, wow, let's try and push these guys instead. It's like, oh,
Just a
that's
couple of
not
other
going to work.
things. And it wasn't on the video that I can remember anyway. So Vince, I think it's right before the main event actually. Um, they're doing some bullshit promotional stuff about
Yes, yeah, Alundra Blaze comes
yeah.
out
So London Blaze
with a
comes out.
t-shirt.
She's wearing this t-shirt. What was it for? Was it? Oh,
Oh my god, it's
I
difficult to
can't even
remember.
remember now.
I
It's something.
remember seeing on the video package a woman going through the door before Davy Boy comes down, and I thought to myself, I never saw that on the video. I saw it for the first time on the Netflix coverage where they were trying to promote. I think it was like In Your House or
There's
something stupid.
feedback as well there because Vince is
Yeah,
actually he's talking live to the crowd as well, and it's feeding back.
yeah,
You can hear it, and it's
yes,
hitting.
yeah, yeah,
And Londra Blaze comes out. She's wearing this t-shirt. It's promoting WWF,
yes,
um,
yeah.
and it was something to do with the actual pay-per-view, the In Your House. I can't remember. I'm annoyed now. Can't remember what she was promoting. Um, I just remember thinking, yeah, she came out the wrong door. So did Brett,
Yes,
by the way. They're
yes,
supposed to come
yeah,
out of the garage door, which is the main, um,
entrance.
obviously main entrance
Yeah,
to the ring area. But yeah, she goes back through there. But she picks up a VHS cassette from these shitty fake plants in front of the house,
right.
and Vince is talking about you'll get a free video. I'm like, what's that in there, King? And I'm thinking like it's probably one of somebody's porn. There's not. I'm like, there wasn't even
Yeah.
a label. There wasn't even a label on the VHS. I'm like, that's someone's dirty video. And I just remember thinking, what's it doing in that fucking plant bed anyway? Like, how
Random.
stupid,
Just left it
how
out for the
fucking,
neighbours.
how fucking random is that?
That's
Um,
weird.
I just remember thinking, yeah, Lunge Blaze coming out. Yeah, they should have had Sonny do it, really. But there you go.
Yeah, yeah, true. I mean, was Sunny in the company at this time? I don't think
Yeah, of course she was.
she was. Yeah, but I think they were kind of just keeping her as a body fitness instructor
Yeah,
rather than
she
like
hadn't quite, yeah, she hadn't quite
no.
transitioned into her slut phase.
No, definitely not. No.
Character slut phase. I'm not going to say anything about the
Yes. No. No.
actual person.
No.
But you
So
know what I mean?
yes.
Because she
Yeah,
got
I
all
do.
raunchy in '96, and
He
yeah,
did.
that's right. I can't remember for the life, and that's bugging me now. What were they promoting? It was to do with the pay-per-view, and
I think it was an In Your
um,
House Free T-shirt. I think it might have been about the triple. I think it might have been about
that's I
the
think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
triple.
And you got a free video. You got a free
Yes.
video. That's right.
Yeah.
So
No.
instead of showing an actual example of a Coliseum home video available in any good reputable Woolworths or WH Smiths or wherever you're from
Yes.
at the time, let's just randomly put a fucking no label, no case VHS
Yeah.
cassette,
No picture. Yeah. Just a blank
bury it in
tape.
a fake plant bed in front of a makeshift bullshit house dressing set, and let's do
Yes.
that. See how that works.
Clearly, well, obviously didn't work because their tape sales didn't go through the roof. So
Those t-shirts
clutching
though,
at
I can
straws.
remember thinking it was like over $20 plus about $4 or $5 for what they call shipping and handling. We call it
Postage
postage.
and packing.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
I remember thinking, um, shit, 1995. If you're like our age, that's a shit lot of money,
It is.
isn't it? Like,
It is. Big time.
why would you spend that kind of money? You get in our money, that's probably you probably get about two videos for that.
Yeah.
Then thereabouts. Like, why would you spend all that money on a shirt that's gonna, remember a fairly forgettable pay per view? I mean, who cared?
Exactly. It was a strange marketing thing for the WWF,
I
but
tell you
they,
what, it was though. It was the era of QVC home shopping.
yes, yes,
If you remember that channel,
I
and
do.
they,
Still
they
going
had Randy
today.
Savage on it one year, '94. They had Randy Savage on
Yeah,
QVC, and I remember the host was joking after he left. So they were selling all the WrestleManias. They had like it's quite rare actually that they had QVC selling WWF merch, including the WrestleManias. And after Savage had left, I remember the host, who's I can't remember his name in the UK, but I can picture his
somebody.
face. But I can't remember his
Okay.
name. I'll probably find out, but um, he was laughing and joking. He's like, "Oh, um, I was warned not to mention that Randy needed help to win the last match at WrestleMania 4 or something," and he was giggling with this
Oh,
other guy. And I just remember it was really funny. It was all
yeah,
good natured fun, but
yeah,
it was a different time. And yeah, this whole let's just take up some TV time to sell some shit. It's the era of QVC for those
yes,
that remember QVC home
yeah,
shopping. So there's a bit of that going on. And I think Barry Didinsky, who had been popping up quite a few times in '95 selling shit.
yeah,
Um, I think the WrestleMania one, he mentioned WrestleMania 11. He mentioned that normally these WrestleMania T-shirts would only be available to those actually there in the venue.
right.
So for the first time, it's available to everyone watching on pay-per-view. So it's nothing. Um, then it would have been innovation, but what
Yes,
they were doing then is antique by today's standards. Everything's available with
definitely.
a click of a few buttons on your phone.
Yeah, yeah. Back then, it was a lot harder to get to ring up and order it and give all your card details on the phone. And yes,
Yeah, or send off a check
oh
or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
money order, postal
A
order, and then you
mailing
had to
order.
wait
Yes.
28 days for delivery. That was a standard thing, wasn't
Oh
it?
God, 28-day delivery. Jesus Christ.
Christ,
Yes.
28 days later, like the movie, 28 days
Yes.
later, it's like
And you'd
you make a
forgotten you'd even
decision.
ordered
28 days
it.
later, you're
So,
fucking regretting it now.
yes.
Like the guy said
Oh,
in the movie, well, I've got some bad news for you, mate.
oh, yeah. Yes. Wow.
I'm really interested in that Whale and Mercy home invasion thing. I think that really could have worked.
That was great. You should have, yeah,
They could have had him
check.
stalking outside the arena. They could have done all sorts of
They could have
stuff.
done. Yeah. You should. Yeah, I'm disappointed you never got to pitch that to
You
Bruce.
know, it would have been hilarious if like if he'd started like he could have gone up to Sonny and stalked Sonny like in the movie. He'd be like, "You mad if I put my arm around you?"
Oh
That could
dear.
have worked. That could have
Yeah,
worked. That would have been
yeah.
hilarious.
God. You know,
But
stalked Nigel Blaze.
that would have been Attitude Era before the Attitude Era. We're still new generation here, so
That's
they
true.
bring
Yeah,
in a character whose very definition is Attitude Era,
yeah,
um, but he's stuck in the new generation, and therefore it's like PG. Um,
yes. Squashing
and he
photos.
can't. He
Oh,
just won't do anything. He can't do anything. So yeah, it's a shame that because the idea was there. They just literally wouldn't pull the trigger
no,
and
no,
fire the. It was a good idea.
it
Actually, I think
was.
it had mileage. I think um, it's an interesting one because it's like Razor Ramon came in and he pitched himself to Vince McMahon as Scarface.
Yeah, yeah,
So why can't you do it? That whole Razor Ramon character is based on Scarface, and it
yeah.
worked. So,
It did.
why couldn't Wade and Mercy work? And I still think, JR would be the private eye from the De Niro movie.
Yes, yeah.
He's in the kitchen. Um, God, yeah, the housekeeper's been murdered, and Waylon Mercy's wearing a wig and a dressing gown. Turns around and he's got blood all over his face, and JR's got his back to him. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, how about that coffee?" My God, and he's like, he's
Yeah.
got a He's got a steel cable around his neck. JR's like, my God.
You can't kill JR on live TV, damn it.
No, he
Camera will
wouldn't
have
kill
to.
him. No, it would
Oh,
cut,
okay.
wouldn't it?
All right,
He'd
okay.
come back and all the referees and the police would be there with the aftermath. And
All the
JR's on the floor
referees.
just sort of hacking and coughing and
All
all,
right, I
all
got you.
red. He wouldn't,
All right,
you couldn't
you're not
actually
going to
kill
kill him.
JR.
You're just gonna strangle him a bit. All right, got it, got it.
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah,
sure.
that's right.
Got it. So,
It could have
yeah,
worked. If it wasn't JR or somebody else. But,
Kevin Kelly.
the ideas are there. Kevin, oh
Yes.
no. No, that's how you kill the whole angle, is
Oh,
get
okay.
Kevin Kelly there.
That's fair enough. Fair enough.
That's what he did. He's the one. Everything about that whole Kevin Kelly home invasion coverage with Pillman and Austin, every single aspect of it was entirely believable except Kevin Kelly,
Yes.
because the
Yeah.
way he was overreacting like a hysterical bloody old
Oh
woman.
my God, he's got a gun. I don't know, Vince. He saw the gun and he left.
He
Oh
talked
my
about
God.
explosions at one point, and that's to be like, oh, what the? Come on, come on,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I did see that. I did enjoy the footage of like Brian Pillman's friends being beaten up outside a kiddie pool, kiddie play pools and thrown into the pool set by the
It
by
worked.
Austin. But yeah,
It
it
worked.
did.
I mean, it was done then, but it could have been done now on this
Yeah,
night, this era, this show. I
definitely.
mean, I guess maybe they knew that he was already on his way out and it wasn't worth trying. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
sure, sure.
but I don't think they would have
He
had.
could.
I don't think they would have had ideas like that for him. Although it was so, yeah, it was their own idea. He's Cape
Yeah.
Fear because
Yes.
he is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he
Yes.
is. It's very obvious. He's glaringly obvious. He is Cape Fear. He's Robert De Niro,
Yes. Yeah.
and they don't do anything really that interesting with it.
No. No. Which is a shame. Could have had
He
legs.
teases it in the promos, but
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
unilateral. It's like, yeah, he's just gonna squash the WWF superstars. If they get in my way, they're gonna be paying. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It was just not directed. He needed a victim.
He
That's what he
did.
needed. He needed to pick on someone, and he needed a victim, and to make it really edgy and meaningful feud. But he just didn't do anything. It's a shame.
Yeah.
And I haven't got
Well.
anything bad to say about Dan Spivey. I remember his was it Texas Lariat match he had with Lex Luger at oh gosh, it was for the US title, 1990.
Possibly. Yeah. Rings
What's
a
the
bell.
match?
Starcade
What's
90?
the match where you got a there's a you, it's a lariat match, isn't it? Texas Lariat match where
Well,
they're
you've got to get to all
tied
four
together and
corners.
you have to
Yeah,
beat
yeah,
the man up and then walk to
yeah,
each turnbuckle and touch it. It's that, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's a Texas Lariat match. So
Yeah. Yeah.
he has one of them at Collision Course, and he wins it, and it's a really good match. So I can remember the better days of
Yes.
Stan
Yeah.
Hansen. Everybody knows, yeah, Stan Hansen's one of those sort of old stalwarts that had a hell of a lot of respect. He was a tough, mean motherfucker.
Yes, he was. He was.
So
He
respect,
he had a match with Vader and he popped Vader's eye out of his socket in Japan, I think. It was like Christ.
Jesus.
So
Maybe no one wanted to work with him. Maybe they were
possibly,
just too scared of him. I thought, oh no, fuck that, he's too stiff.
possibly, yeah. But
Like
yeah,
like
no,
Sergeant Murtaugh in Lethal Weapon. Like, hey, 3 days to retirement.
yeah, yeah.
I'm getting too
Oh,
old for this shit.
oh dear. Yeah, it's Murtaugh. No one wants to work with him because
That's
they
Riggs.
know.
That's Murtaugh saying that. Is he didn't want to work with
Yes,
Riggs, did he?
that's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Close to retirement. Yes. Oh dear. But yeah, so that was in your house three. So Lloyd's come up with a great story. 20, 30 years too late. That can never be done again. But yeah, that was in your house three.
Well,
Um,
to quote Ray Stantz, I couldn't help it. It just popped in there.
very good.
I
Good.
never even gave it any thought. It just kind of happened
Right.
just
Well,
now.
that's fair
There you
play.
go.
Fair play.
There
So
you go.
before we sign off, what was the show you wanted to cover at some stage, or have you forgotten that already?
Well, we've touched on it in places tonight. Might as well do SummerSlam, and then that's everything from '95.
SummerSlam '95. Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay, well that'll be our next event. That'll be our next episode. SummerSlam
I've
'95.
got
Why
some.
not?
I've got some very very strong memories of that whole night as
Okay.
well, which I
Excellent.
have talked to you about in the past. I'll give you a gentle
Yeah.
reminder later of it.
Yes.
Yeah, sort of family
Yeah.
folklore,
Yeah.
all to do and connected directly with SummerSlam that night.
Yes. Yes. Excellent. I can't wait for that. So, okay, guys, we shall see you in the next episode.